Yeah, David, please go ahead.
Thank you. Good evening, one and all. Welcome to Leaders Connect 360. Leaders Connect 360 is a CSR initiative by Bija Training and organized by the Mass Leadership. My name is Captain David, and I'm from Penetia Facilities Private Limited. Leaders Connect 360 started with the specific objective of inviting 1,000+ leaders and create 1 million leaders. And we are slowly and steadily heading towards that goal. It's a hybrid model leadership community where every Wednesday from 6:30 p.m. to 7:15 p.m., we learn from top management leaders on Zoom Live. And once in 3 months in each city, we will have an online networking meet to network, support, and grow with the leaders. That's when we call it as Leaders Create Motives. Currently, we're all muted, and we will be giving you an opportunity to speak to our guest, Mr. Sushil Barkur, Associate Vice President, L&D, TM, and OD at Alkem Laboratories. But before that, let me also share we are currently live on LinkedIn, and this episode 79 is being recorded. For the visitors who are joining us for the first time, you may also click on the WhatsApp, Facebook, and LinkedIn link on the chat box to get updates on weekly basis and join us in creating more leaders. Also, we request all our members and visitors to turn on your videos, which will help us in making the episode highly interactive. And we also would like to see your smiling faces, please. So, are we all ready to interact with our guest, Mr. Sushil Barkur, on the topic workplace culture? Then please type S in the chat box. Thanks, Archana. Thanks, Prakash. Thanks, Nelai. Fine. Thank you. Thank you. Before the introduction of the guest, let me also take the privilege to introduce the founder of the Leaders Connect, Mr. Prakash Sharma, who will interact with our guest initially today, along with a panel discussion leader, Ms. Archana, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Thank you, Prakash, over to you.
Great. Thank you very much, David, for the awesome quick introduction or the leader's role you have taken in explaining about the purpose of this community and why we all are here. Thank you, David. And yes, well, visitors and members, and first, the dear guest, Mr. Sushil. Welcome you all for the Leaders Connect platform at 360. And yes, Mr. Sushil, we welcome you, sir. So we can option to unmute. Is it possible?
Yeah. Am I audible now, Prakash?
Yes, you're very much audible, sir. We welcome you, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, and don't call me sir, call me Sushil, because
yes,
we come from a culture correct where we call people by first name. And thank you, David, for setting up the context. And thank you very much, Prakash, from the Mass Leadership for calling me for this conversation. And I welcome and thanks all the guests who are attending the program for taking out their time, because I know it is in Mumbai, it is raining, still raining. Okay. And you see that when people are going back from office to home, you have taken out the time to listen to this conversation. So thank you very much for coming in.
Wonderful. Thanks, Sushil, for doing it so, and thanks for taking up from your midst of your busy schedules and giving us an opportunity as well. I'm sure the team over here who all are here with more listeners, and they'll definitely like to listen to you all and interact more and more. Great. So for all the members and visitors here, so we have a quick introduction of Mr. Sushil. So as usual, we have a video format of introduction of Sushil. So here goes the video, sir, and then after that, we will take it up with our questions on the topic workplace culture. Yes. Over to you, Arun, for the video. Great. So thank you very much. So all the participants, all the people who are present here, right? Welcome, Mr. Sushil, and welcome, Ms. Archana. Both of them are here for us today on the specific topic to discuss, which is workplace culture. Great. And before that, also let me also share their LinkedIn links here on the chat box. So Mr. Sushil Barkur, please feel free to stay in touch with him on LinkedIn, as well as Mr. Archana Shriram. Their respective LinkedIn links will be on the chat box for us shortly. And without much time, let me also introduce and invite Ms. Archana here, Archana Shriram. Hi, Archana. Thanks for joining us here and taking up the role as a panel discussion leader, Archana.
Thank you, Prakash, sir. Thanks for the introduction and welcome, Sushil. It is nice to have you here. And truth being said, it is actually a thanks from us rather than from you to us. So it's very nice that I'm seeing a very smiling face here. And just like you said in the initial phase, that thank you very much to everybody to attend it. Truth being said, we would like to thank you for coming here and taking an opportunity to share the leadership insights with us.
Now, Archana, this is always a mutual feeling because after spending around 20 years in the industry, correct, we also have our own responsibility towards the larger community. Yeah. So it is a mutual feeling. It is nothing like that you need to thank me or I need to thank you. It's a mutual feeling. Yeah.
Thank you so much. And by the way, so do I address you as Sushil or do I address you as sir?
Sushil, yeah. My parents have given me a good name and they have not added any prefix there. So call me Sushil.
Okay, so Sushil it is. Fine. So we have a few questions which we would like to have an interaction with you.
Sure.
First is that
over to you. Just before we start that, Archana, just a minute.
Yeah.
So for all the members and visitors, as we had now, Ms. Archana will be asking on behalf of Leaders Connect 360 a few questions on the specific topic workplace culture, and all the people will be given opportunity also to ask questions. Open questions will come at the end, as we all are aware. So at the end, you also will be given opportunity to ask open questions by raising a hand or typing in the chat box. So stay active, keep on our videos. Let's have more interactive episode and session. So over to you, Archana and Mr. Sunil. Go ahead.
Thank you, Prakash. So the first thing which we would like to know from you, Sushil, is that basically we often have different takes of workplace culture. So we would like to know that is everybody has different takes and different explanation perspectives on workplace culture. So we would like to know from you that is what is your views on workplace culture, and if you could also share your experience of the culture at Alkem, that is going to be very good.
Sure. Thank you very much for this question, Archana. You see that culture is very difficult to define. And that is why it is said that it is more about that how you feel when you enter in that environment or in that organization. And that is why I could say that culture is basically the character and the personality of the organization. Like you cannot judge the character and the personality of a person with a 1 or 2 interaction. Likewise, culture needs to be felt with over a period of time. And in a simpler manner, if you see that it is a shared perception of an organization that how the things are done here. It is nothing to do with the written policies there. It is a sum total of the attitude, beliefs, then values, what people carry, how the leadership behavior is there, what kind of the interaction is there. If we put together everything, that defines the culture. And that is why it is said that there is something which we generally understand in our OD parlance as well. That is the iceberg theory that says that what is visible is not important. If you want to understand that, you have to go deeper into it and you need to see that what is that 2/3 part beneath the sea level, which is making 1/3 part visible. So that is the culture. And if you ask about the organization where I am working here, all the audience and you know that I have around 20 plus years of experience. Out of 20 plus years of experience, 11 years I have just completed with this organization in the month of December 2021. And if I need to define the culture of organization where I am working in, that is Alkem Laboratories Limited, it is based upon the 5 pillars basically. First is the trust, that is non-negotiable. Second is the leadership aspect, which we generally say the credibility of the leadership. Then the third pillar, correct, where we work on is the camaraderie, then respect towards the employee, and more so, that is the fairness. And this is the 5 pillars, correct, which we are working on. And we have been working and we are working on. And we have been certified as a great place to work from the Great Place Institute continuously for 3 years. And this year, for the first time, we have entered into the top 100 category, irrespective of industry. And we are ranked 31st there. And among the pharmaceuticals and the biotech, we are the best as regarded by, as given by the Great Place to Work. And you see that culture is all about the anecdotes and the stories which we live in. And those stories inspire us and help us to treat the coming people in the organization to behave in the same way.
Right. Thank you so much, Sushil. It was actually very nice. And it, just like you said, just like I said, it is actually giving a different insight altogether towards culture. So one thing which I really liked about you explaining the culture is that the iceberg theory. So what is that thing which is actually making this 1/3 portion being visible? So that is where I would like to lay a fact that when many organizations start, otherwise I would say when many organizations start, so it's a fact that they start with hardly 5-10 employees or maybe 50-100 employees of luck supports. Right. And then slowly and slowly as they grow, it becomes 50, 100,000, 2,000, whatsoever. Number goes in. So even the advent of this, the culture changes, the people change, the organization also might be changing in all these aspects. So in all these aspects, the changes are made. So what do you think, or where do you think that we need to know that the culture has to be identified and has to be changed? Or else how do we bring on the changes also? Because bringing a change is actually definitely difficult. And the growth of an organization definitely depends on the culture. So if you throw some lights on this, that is how and when do we identify the changes in the culture has to be brought?
Archana, see, I would like to answer this question a little bit differently because I have a different take on this. Because there are 2 kind of things out there for making the culture change. One is the reactive way of doing it. Second is the proactive way of doing it. Right. And most of the HR leaders I have seen, they end up doing the reactive kind of things more rather than working proactively on building the culture where they want their organization needs to live in the future. Right. Like, for example, you see that recently this crisis of pandemic has come. All of a sudden, that work from home started. Now, few of the organization, they were unable to react properly even a first 6 months period of time. Those people who were already working before the pandemic on the digitization and bringing that kind of skill and the culture, for them, it was not an easier, but it was a faster transition which was there. Right. Second thing is that generally I have seen that the HR leader, once the businesses start complaining to them, there is a lot of attrition is happening. Our business performance are not up to the mark. And that is the time they enter into doing the pulse survey or bringing some external agencies to find out that what is happening there. And by that time, almost the culture has already started deteriorating. Because you have rightly said, when any organization is started, it is the owner and 5-6 people, they are started working on that. And you see, that becomes the core culture of the organization. And over a period of time, as the generations keeps on coming, like the organization which I am working, we are now entering into our 50th year this year, right? 1973, it was started. And our founder chairman, correct, he was alive till last 2 years back. Till the time he was there, even at the ripe age of 94, he used to come to the organization. And that is how you see that the core culture remains there, and it inspired the generations. So there can be mostly the take on your question is that it should not be reactive, it needs to be proactive, because even at that age of 94 years, that late Shri Sampada Singh, that is his name, at the age of 94, he used to say that everything is happening now on mobile. When our organization will completely shift on mobile. So you see that the leaders always inspire, and the culture is always flows from the top. You cannot bring the culture change at the middle or at the bottom level. Yes, you can have certain pockets of managers and their teams, correct, who may be displaying a different kind of attachment and the culture. But if you're talking about the overall organizational culture, it always flows from top. Hope, Archana, I am answering your question. I am not being diverting from your question. You're digressing from
No,
it.
no, it's actually very nice. Like your point on the spot, and what I really love about you till now is Sushil, so humble and down to earth responses. It's actually, very nice to have an interaction with you. Thank you very much. On that note, let me give you a short break and let me come over to the audience who are here. So, from the audience, I would really like to have a small interaction. Please use the chat box, and I would like to know from you if there is any organization, any company wherein you have either worked or you had an experience going for a day or two. What is the best organization, or in terms of culture, which is the best organization workplace culture which you really liked based on the interaction which we had right now with Sushil? The chat screen is open right now in front of you. Please use that and do let us know. And soon after this, I'll be coming to you, Sushil.
Yes.
I'm waiting for the responses. Okay. So Selvaraj is the first one. He says Citibank. I'm still waiting. Okay. That straight away a big shot you went for, Prakash sir. Okay, so let us not spend much time waiting for it. Now coming back to you. Okay, so people have starting of so many organizations right now. Okay, so now coming back to you, Sushil. As you can see that people have actually stated different kind of organizations wherein the culture is actually, wherein they really love the culture. So that is the fact that every organization has its own culture. And especially just like you mentioned that talking about work from home, hybrid, talking about mobile being used as an interaction mode for organization. So the culture changes over a period of time. It is definitely different in every organization. So I would ask that in such cases where culture is very much prevalent, very different, and people are being hired from different culture, wherein we see that it's not limited to, like, I believe right now you're from Mumbai, am I right?
Yeah.
Yes. So it is obvious that people only from Mumbai are not working in your company. So of course they are from different. Same thing goes to people across the organizations. Goes to organizations across the country. So in such kind of a scenario, how do you think that we need to bring in the culture, the best culture? What are the challenges? Most importantly, what are the challenges that we face, and how can we overcome?
Now you see that in any kind of culture which you want to bring in, first you need to define that what kind of culture you require. And if you look at from the lens of a corporate, correct? So it goes like that there has to be a complete, you can say, direction needs to be there, alignment needs to be there, and the collaboration needs to be there. These are the three, you can say, main pillar which every HR leader needs to be aware about, so that he does not become a victim of the fad which is happening in the market right now. Are you getting my point? So once it is defined, correct, with the management, these are the three things which we want in our organization, that people should be moving in the right direction, in a common direction. There has to be complete alignment among the teams, and there has to be collaboration among the teams, so that they keep on solving the problems and make the organization grow. And once this is decided, then you see that things start falling in place. When we talk about the diverse culture, correct, why we are looking into that organization is having only one kind of a rigid culture. The organization is always created. Maybe when you have given an example that one owner is starting the organization, maybe the 5 people who are coming along with him are not from the same place. They might be from different place, different background. So this diversity in culture aspect is already inbuilt, because organization we are seeing as a living system. We are not seeing as a static system. Only thing is that we need to become sensitive to these kind of culture, diverse cultural people who are coming in. If I am from Bombay, maybe somebody from Madhya Pradesh, a small town, is joining in. Now, how and what kind of sensitivity culture I create here, so that I understand that what are his needs and what are my expectations from him. Both are meeting together. And that is why you see that onboarding over a period of time, last 5 years, if you have seen, a lot of discussion and a lot of talks are happening that how should we make our recruitment, selection and onboarding. That is very important, correct, to make people to get immersive in the culture. And when we are talking about onboarding, I remember that 15 years back, when I was asked to create an induction module for the onboarding of people, it was only the functional aspect which used to be there. But now when we are creating the onboarding module, right, we keep that how many times his socialization is being done with all the leaders, right, when he's coming, what he likes, whether he's a vegetarian, non-vegetarian, all those minute things we look into and we design the customized onboarding plan for people. So one of the answer for bringing this diverse culture and making them a part of an overall larger culture of the organization is looking on your onboarding programs, your induction programs, because that is the time in the first 90 days, correct, you come to know that whether people are going to continue with you or they are having some kind of dissatisfaction. And that is why you see that wherever you see the attrition analysis, it is always 0 to 6 months is a big challenge for all the HR leaders.
Right. Nice. Nice response, Sushil. In fact,
and Archana, if I'm allowed to say, one point or more I would like to add, and this is very interesting conversation with one of our board members. That is, we started discussing about that our organization is now 50 years old. Correct? It's a big size organization, around 18,000 employees work, and we have our footprints in 40 countries. And in India, domestic, around 12,000 people are there. So we are a multi-generational force now. It is not about only the millennials or the Gen Z, even the baby boomers, some people are working there. So then we started doing a debate. This new generation, they behave differently, they work differently. One of the person in the meeting, he said, aren't we talking about the same kind of thing what we face in our families? That fellow comes from a joint family. And so beautifully he has explained, he said that in our family, my father, my son, it means my son's grandfather, I, and this 3 generations are living. Now, whenever there is a conflict, there is always a conflict between me and my son. And the grandfather comes and he solves everything. And I tell you, that has given such an insight to us that the lacuna in the mentorship program, with this example, we were able to actually fix that. Because in the mentor program, what used to happen, that we used to give a high performing leader and we tried to match him with the new joinee. And this new joinee, he becomes so much, you can say, in awe with that high performing leader that he goes into the shell. So then we started deciding upon why not, correct, we connect with him with a person first who give him comfort, and then the other parts people will start learning, because it is their own learning journey.
nice. That was something nice, connecting the professional relationship to the personal side of life. So yes, that's absolutely right. That's what we do. In fact, I would also like to share one experience here wherein you told about the onboarding, the induction. So just on the induction part alone, wherein when I also have an HR experience. So when I had stepped into the organization, the induction was limited to an HR talking about all the policies, right, and then giving an introduction that this is the accounts person, this is the admin person, this is the head of the person, blah, 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 etc. And end of discussion. Nothing happens. Right. Then I went ahead and decided to speak just like what you said, that let's make the person comfortable first. And basically many of the the attrition happens in the first few months. So I went ahead and I brought in the company CEO and CEO saying that this is your company. You're supposed to be the leaders here. Why don't you have an interaction with the newcomers? So after the HR's induction, I used to set about a schedule for them in their week that this week I want you to take out 15-20 minutes of your time and have an interaction with the newcomers who are coming.
Right.
This actually helped a lot because the people were feeling very much, generous. And I also got a straight away feedback from one of the person saying that this is very nice when, person has joined as a newcomer, especially in fact, we were in hybrid mode, not hybrid, sorry, totally online. So nobody knows the other person. So they just see the faces, they just see the names, everything digitally only. And all of a sudden, it's like I'm going ahead and making them as a part of this team and that team. So, and I go ahead and speak to them, asking them that did you have your lunch? Even those basic parts and all, I was so surprised to know later that this is actually leading to a very beautiful impression on them as newcomers. So rightfully said that yes, the leader or in leader is actually playing a very crucial role in making sure that everybody binds together.
Right.
That being said, we would also like to know from you. Sorry, we would also like to know from you that as a leader, what do you think is more important? That is to retain the workplace culture, because we have discussed that they are the roots of the companies, or do you think it is to adapt to the new culture, because culture always changes?
See, definitely, there is no means that binary answer to this. It all depends upon that what kind of business you are in, right? What kind of the talent you are getting, and what kind of the organization you want to create in the coming 10 years or 15 years period of time. Because you see, there are organizations where business model has not changed for last 15, 20 years. Like if I talk about pharma as an industry, in last 70 years, the business model has not changed, isn't it? So not much of the cultural changes you need to acquire, other than that what are the new technological tools which are coming in. Now, otherwise, you look into the telecom industry and other industry, or the IT industry, where every 2 years, isn't it, the technology changes, the skill level changes, cross skilling and other aspects of the work start coming in. So it all depends upon that the business model, which business you are in. Right. Another thing is that next 10 years, what you want to become as an organization. And my take is very simple. Leadership affects culture, and the culture affects the leadership. So everything cannot be put on the shoulder of the leader. Like when you started your discussion, you said that when a company is small, isn't it? Then definitely leader has a lot of, you can say, load on his shoulder to create a culture. But if a company is a 70-year-old, or it is a GE-like company, behemoth, right? As soon as a new leader comes in over here, people start telling him, see, I have been working here for last 30 years, and this is how the things are done here. So culture starts affecting the leadership. So leader needs to keep a very good balance, because ultimately leader is responsible for delivering the results. Now these results, what is the ways and means are there by involving people, keeping people happy, keeping people engaged. And that is where the culture piece starts coming. Because your balance sheet is bleeding red and you are talking about all goody things, nobody will agree. That is why culture is something intangible, which gives you the tangible results. So my answer is that I will not give a binary answer that whether to adapt or modify, but a leader needs to be very progressive in nature, and he needs to be very sensitive towards that what is happening in the environment, what is that new generation needs, and what is missing in their own culture. So the leader, along with the HR and the management, needs to do a quick review every 2 years by asking 4 questions to themselves. Number one, they need to uncover the behaviors which needs to change and the behaviors which need not to be changed. And the question is very simple, that what are the behaviors, right, that you see today and you want it to stop? What are the behaviors, second one, which you feel like that it is not existing, but you want to bring in those behaviors? Third one, that what are those behavior which we need to continue with? So stop, start, and continue in terms of the behaviors are very important to look from the lens that which culture or what kind of culture we need to adopt, modify, or continue. Because still you see, the human motivation doesn't change. In last 70 years, correct, human motivation theory has not changed, only the semantics have changed. Like nowadays, people talk about the human motivation theory of ARC, autonomy, relatedness, and competence. And that is why you see that competence, as soon as you say, people start looking into what are the organizations which are giving me the learning and development opportunities. Right. When you're talking about that relatedness, what kind of the purpose you are giving to the people who are joining in? Autonomy, what kind of a delegation empowerment you are giving to people? But when I look back and see the literature, Archana, I feel like these things were previously also there. And it is all right now also. But somewhere we have stopped becoming sensitive towards these things. And once we start becoming sensitive, it is very easy to create the culture what the organization needs and the people require.
It's very nice. You're making me think so deep. I believe you're making all of us think so deep that what exactly are we doing and are we doing it right or not? It's very nice to have this interaction with you, Sushil. Thank
I
you
do not
so
know
much.
that, Archana, but this is how I feel like, and I have seen my organization changing in last 11 years period of time.
Beautiful. That's very nice. Seriously, it's a lesson to be learned. Not a lesson, sorry. It's something which we really love to get more and more insights into it and have more of experience and exposure into it. It's very nice having this kind of interaction and knowledge coming from you. I can see David already clapping his hands for that. Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much, Sushil. Now over to you, Prakash, sir, to take for the next one.
Sure. Thank you very much, Archana. That was really great. And thanks very much, Sushil. That is awesome. Direct from your heart, you're sharing it across again. And then I'm able to see, as you said, very humbly, politely, you're sharing it. A couple of pointers here. I really like a couple of pointers. One of the very important pointers is what to stop, what to start, what to continue. That itself is there for us to really apply more. Good. And the leader's role, in fact, what you told, right? Leader's role, very important. Whether to be a part of it, should be a leader cannot change, ensure whether we are changing or not. The leader's role here. Wonderfully shared, Sushil. It's really giving more deeper insights. Yeah. So, Sushil, now is the time for open questions. Sure. And before open questions, we're going to have a small quiz, Sushil. So far, what all we have discussed is where we're going to ask our members and visitors who have joined us today. So we'll just take 2 minutes of the quiz, and then is where open questions will be there from the audience to you. Is that okay?
Sure.
Yeah, thanks, Sushil. And thanks very much, Archana. That was awesome questions. Thanks for taking up this role as well. And so members, visitors, yeah, I'm sorry, Archana, I believe you were speaking. I did. Okay, that's fine. So
I was saying that thank you for the opportunity, sir. Nothing.
Pleasure. Thanks, Archana. Great.
Thanks, Archana. Yeah.
Yes. So members and visitors, now is the time for a quick quiz question. And we all have been listening to Mr. Sushil and then his experience sharing about what and how a workplace culture can be made much more appropriate, how we need to make it and how we need to have it. We've discussed so many points. So the quiz, a quick quiz will understand how much we all are able to take it up and then deploy it. So for conducting the quiz question or asking the quiz question, I request Mr. Nellai Nayagan, who is the quality head from Orlicon Systems Private Limited, to join in and then take up. So yes, Mr. Nellai, over to you. I'm just adding you on spotlight. Yes, Nellai.
Good evening, one and all. Yeah, thanks to Bija Training and Mr. Prakash Sharma for this opportunity as a quiz leader. Dear Sushil sir, actually, really wonderful insights about the workplace culture. And it's a right time to think about and work on this because currently we are also working on new generation team members and all. Oh. So it's time to review as a leader.
True.
Yes, sir. I'm really impressed about your point. We have to rethink on the start, stop, and adapt, modify, and continue, as well as the how the leadership affect the culture and all. So, I think that as a leader, we have to take ownership on this, taking this particular cultural elements. Before I share about the quiz for today, and let me share last week quiz winner, Mr. Devarayan from Hitachi Energy India Limited, who has won a 360-degree assessment tool from the Mask Leadership. Let's congratulate him on the chat box. Congratulations, Mr. Devarayan. So let's see who's the lucky winner for this quiz, this week quiz. So the fastest fingers first. Let's see who writes the correct answer in the chat box. The question is simple. Yeah. Sunil sir mentioned that 5 pillars on the a great place to work on the trust model. So yeah, I think anyone can mention 3 pillars of it.
3 pillars.
Wow. Congratulations, Varsha.
So fast, eh?
So we have trust, leadership, respect. Okay, a couple of people are there. I think so. Who's first and who's typed it correctly? Any 3. So any 3 you can type, right? Malay?
Yes, sir.
He's told 5. So any 3. So trust,
yeah.
fairness, and respect. That's also part of it. It has been shared. So whom do you, Varsha's word is getting? Is it? Malay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Awesome. So let's congratulate Varsha then, Varsha Nishant, for being the quiz winner. So congratulations, Varsha. You get the Mask Leadership 360-degree assessment as complimentary. I'm sure that is still pending for you to do. And this again, I'm going to share you the link, which is going to ensure that this time you're able to complete the 360 degrees online link, which will be helping you in terms of our continuous growth. Great. Congratulations, Varsha, for doing it so. So you can all type in congrats, Varsha. Thanks very much, Nellai, for the quick quiz question. Very short, but correct one you have taken. People to answer. Good one.
Thank you, sir.
Great. So members and visitors, now is the time for us to ask open questions to Mr. Sushil. As our time is also pressing, so keep the question very simple and ensure the question is also aligned to the topic of what we have been discussing today, which is on workplace culture. So 2 ways to ask question directly to Mr. Sushil. One, either raise your hand and we give an opportunity to ask question, or ask your question in the chat box and we will be asking it on behalf of you to Mr. Sushil. So we have one Mr. Sendil Sushil. So yes, Sendil sir, over to you. And we have unmuted you for you to ask a question. Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much, Prakash, and thank you very much, Sushil, for giving us a very goosebump session on culture. And my question is, I'm just curious to see that Walmart or Amazon or Apple, the top 3 companies which are in a Fortune 3 list, what is that one thing that they strictly follow in terms of culture to get themselves placed in Fortune 43?
Yeah, Senthil, the companies which are coming from this western part of the world and they are becoming a large organization across world. One thing which I have seen that they never compromise on communicate. A continuous communication which keeps on happening. Whether it is the leadership communication, vision and mission communication, and I tell you, their performance review is one of the most difficult one, but they continuously communicate their vision, their performance standards. So each and everybody is aware about that what is expected out of them. They are not being caught in a you can say surprise or shocking kind of a thing. Here that, oh, this was the project, I was not aware about it. So there is a continuous communication. Second thing, they spend a lot of money in the development of their people and especially their managers, that how to give the feedback. And that is why you see that how fast these people are moving from your performance management system, which used to happen yearly, then mid-year, and now they are coming into this year continuous feedback. And the kind of technologies which they are using, it is a daily feedback, continuous feedback, monthly feedback. This is the second thing. Third important point is that they are very sensitive towards the surveys which they conduct. right? Because that continuous pulse survey, every 3 months you see that one or the other pulse survey, you will find it. And they're very serious about the outcomes of the pulse survey, and they take the remedial action within 15 days of conducting the survey. So I think these are the 3-4 pointers are there. And these organizations are not the reactive culture adapting organizations, they are the proactive in nature. Yeah.
Thank you very much for giving a very precise and concise answer. Because I work in a company named Daimler. As you said rightly, every quarter we have a pulse survey.
Right.
The monkey survey comes across the plant of organization, and the complete board works towards this survey outcome to how they can reach the strike the company to the next level or sustain the company culture.
Right. And that is why you see that without that pulse survey outcome and action, your CEO cannot enter into the town hall, because people are bound to ask him the question that what is the outcome of that last survey and what actions you have taken.
Correct.
So that is the communication. Yeah. Thank you for asking this question.
Great. Thanks very much, Senthil, for asking that question. And we also have one more question from Mr. Stephen Pinto. So let's take Mr. Stephen. Yes, Stephen, over to you. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. Good evening, Sushil sir. It was a wonderful and very insightful your session. But here just questioning me. There was many times there is the best place to work. We are listening like industries are getting certified like best place to work. What is that, sir? That best place to work? How that is being certification, or what they are looking at for best place at work?
Correct. See, as far as my understanding goes, and I know their methodology is very simple, that there are 2 parts of their survey. One is the culture audit and second one is the employee survey. In the employee survey, they have a set questions, 59 questions and one overriding sentiment, which they send it to the sample population, whatever be the number of people you are selected. Then second one, and this actually is pertaining to, this will lead to 2/3 score of the total marks. And then 1/3 score goes into the culture audit, means what kind of the practices which you are having, which are documented and keeps on happening, as per the time interval which is there. And the combination of these two, if you are scoring around 70% mark there, so then you will be certified as a great place to work. But your real competition starts once you start scoring more than 80. And that is where you see that great place to certificate, correct, people can get if they are achieving 70% mark on criteria. But in their own industry and the benchmark, and then the competition starts. And then they say that in your category, what is your ranking, right? And then if you are good in your industry, then you are eligible to take, you become automatically eligible to compete among the industries. And among the industries, if you are having good score, right, on trust, camaraderie, on all the 5 pillars, then you come under top 100. I hope, Mr. Stephen, I was able to answer your question.
Yes, sir. I know truly, because the 5 pillars which matters a lot in organizations,
Yes,
sir.
yes.
As you rightly quoted, those are the like benchmark even for the HR strategy as well, sir.
Right.
Thank you, sir.
And Stephen, sir, one more thing, correct, I want to just share with you. You see, these things are, it is not like that it was not known, but their survey and their model, which Malkovich has actually started in 1986.
Okay.
So they have given a structure to it. It is just like that 7 habits of highly effective people. None of the habit is new for us as an Indians, because since our childhood, people are telling us those things, but we have never followed. What Stephen Covey has done there, he has put a structure to it. That first this, second this, third this. Right? It will make you independent. It will make you interdependent. It will make you leader. Likewise, this 5 pillars also, if is a good framework. If you start working in, I have seen culture changing because of it.
Okay. Nice, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thanks very much, Stephen. Stephen, like to introduce yourself, Stephen, or
okay.
later?
Okay. Thank you, Prakash. See, myself, Stephen Pinto, having 12 years of experience in HR domain. and currently working for a group of ONGC, which is a part of MRP. I'm working for a MRPL company in HR department. And meanwhile, I'm pursuing my PhD, doctorate and PhD in NITK. Thank you. That's all.
Lovely, lovely.
Good, Steven. Thanks for joining in.
Yeah, thank you.
So we have one more hand raised. Sushil, is it okay? It's all time is 7:18, but that's it fine. Or how do you?
It's okay. It's okay.
One more last question, and then there are questions coming up in the chat box. Okay, maybe one more question is coming. So we'll take one, Mr. Giri, and then we will come to a summary and end of the session. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you very much. Yes, Mr. Giri, over to you. I have also unmuted you. Yes, Giri.
Yeah, thank you for today the meeting. Sorry, I lately joined, but my question is actually, I am running this company. My company is water treatment company. Almost it's 12 years old company. Recently, after 2019, I have been attending, I have finished a corporate trainer, and I have been with so many trainers. And recently, I came with the recommendation of MSME. First, you go for with HR, then the problem can be solved. So as for that, I have recruited, but it's not. But I am not in a position to recruit HR. But even though I have recruited, I am paying very good salary. Then also I am facing the communication, the main issue. Earlier, since we are an entrepreneur, we have so many things. We have to do so many things. We have to network.
Sorry to interrupt. Can we keep the question short and specific to the topic? It will add more value.
Yeah, I can understand. Yeah, I can understand. The question is very deep. The people, he has to understand. That's why I'm elaborating. No issue. I can short my question. Even that I recruited the HR, still we are not able to communicate with the people regularly.
Okay.
And may I know, Mr. Giri, what
they have some.
Yeah, may I know, Mr. Giri?
Tell me, sir.
What is the employee base you have?
Pardon?
What is the employee
base you have?
Employee base.
Employee 10, below 10 numbers.
Below 10 numbers.
Yes.
See, I'm not in a complete position to answer you, but if you are having 10 employees over there, what is stopping you to interact with them and understand from them that what are the challenges they are facing, because they are with you in your thick and thin and helping you to increase your business. So having an open chat with you or maybe somebody who is second in command to understand from them, and any good facilitator can help you in doing this.
Yes, sir, I can understand. Since it's a very deep question, I can directly get in touch with you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Sure, definitely.
Thanks, Giri, for asking that. That will be adding more value. Good. So, members, visitors, and guests, thanks very much for joining in today. That's been an awesome episode with Mr. Sushil Barkur with us today. And a lot of insights, deeper insights about workplace culture and a great place to work. What is it? How can we get? Definitely Alkem Laboratories is a part of great place to work. So many aspects are there in a great place, workplace culture, which you've understood today. So thanks, Sushil. So formally, I would request Mr. Sendil to do a quick summary of what all we had discussed. Those key pointers for people who might have missed, will be able to take it up. And then we'll end up with introducing the next week's leader, and then we end up our episode. So before sharing it to the I would request all the participants, that is members and visitors, to stay back where we all get an opportunity to introduce each other. Where after this complete ending, we all will get an opportunity to introduce your name and then company name. This will help us know each other better. Okay. So over to you, Sendil, quickly in terms of a summary. Start, Sendil.
Thank you very much, Prakash, for the opportunity, and thank you very much to the complete forum. As time keeps pressing and Mr. Sushil is reaching the end of today's day, I would like to briefly summarize today's keynote message. The session started with the culture. Culture is nothing but how the character and personality of the organization is defined. At the same time, I was talking about the iceberg theory, where how the two-third hidden side of the picture brings or helps to sustain the 1/3 picture of the iceberg, which is visible to us. And there are 5 pillars, that is trust, credibility of leadership, camaraderie, respect, and how to overcome fear. These are the key focus pillars that we need to keep focusing to enhance the culture of the organization, or culture to set within the organization. And last is the proactive and reactive approach are the 2 ways how we can bring changes in an organization. But ideally speaking, proactive way is a healthy and hygiene way to set up the best and culture in a faster pace with higher sustainability or the longer sustainability. And if you look into the different kind of culture to be established in an organization, there are 3 things. One is alignment, second is setting the right direction, and third is collaborating among the team. So these are the 3 main points which are required to be established in an organization. There was some punch message saying that the culture is intangible, but at the same time it's tangible to the organizational growth. Same way, leadership affect culture and culture affect leadership.
Wonderful, wonderfully shared. Yes, complete. Finish up.
I think Senthil, you have done it much better than me.
Senthil, we always take his services for summary leader. An awesome summary he does. His capturing of inputs is tremendous. And a small point also he captures very nicely and puts it in a quick summary.
And last but not least is the ARC, and that is nothing but the autonomial relatedness and competence, which is the key factor that sets the business model of the organization.
Great. Thanks very much, Senthil, for a quick summary. Awesome summary you did. And please do share it in the group, like always. Help our leaders who missed today's session so that they'll be able to get a clarity and understanding of what Mr. Sunil Barkur's experience is all about in terms of workplace culture.
Sure.
Great, Senthil. Thank you. And thanks very much. And now I invite for the vote of thanks. I invite Ms. Bhavani Pancholi for a quick vote of thanks to all our guests, leaders, as well as the members. So yes, Ms. Bhavani, we request you to share a vote of thanks and introduce the next week's leader. Okay, Ms. Bhavani, I believe she is a little occupied. Okay, I will do that. That will also add more value. All right, so let me take the quick privilege to introduce the next week's leader. The next week's leader is Mr. Kiran. He is the CHRO from CISA Care Private Limited. So, Mr. Arul, kindly share the screen for next week's leader that will add more value. Thanks, Arul. So, is Mr. Kiran Prasad, the CHRO from CISA Care Private Limited, and his specific topic is going to be on collaborative leadership. And that's the specific topic on collaborative leadership, as how when companies merge together, 2 companies are merging or any acquisitions of the company happens. At that moment of time, how collaboration leadership is really going to help and adding more value, and what all we need to be doing and keeping in mind as leaders. And we all middle management, what all can we do is a part of the topic. So stay tuned. So the next week's link also will be shared on the chat box, and always feel free to say same link, and every week after week we all be inviting. So thanks Arul for sharing that. So let me quickly share in a nutshell. So every week, so Leaders Connect 360 is a quick hybrid leadership model community which we've been doing it, where every week on online we invite a leader, like how today Mr. Sushil Barkur has joined us, and every 3 months once we also have an offline networking meet, which is in a hotel in every city which has been conducted. So that's how we'll be also inviting and meeting, getting an opportunity to meet all. So we also have our offline networking meet this time, which is happening on 6th of August at Chennai. And we have 13th of August at Bangalore. And we have at 1st of October at Hyderabad. So for people who wish to join our offline networking meet at the respective hotels, please feel free to join. And then we are here to have a structured networking episode where we all interact, meet So our whole purpose is to network, interact, and grow, help each other grow, and that will add more value. So thanks very much, Arul, for sharing it. And that's it for today. And we all have a thank you video for all. And after the video, we'll have an introduction session. So Sushil, thanks very much once again from my side. It's been a great and awesome episode in a short time. Though I believe you were sharing that there's a meeting with chairman, I believe you had completed the meeting and joined us here.
Right. In fact, I have taken an excuse. I told my boss, sir, I have made a promise. I have made a commitment to one session. Then he said that commitment needs to be kept. You go. Thank you so much. And with your kind permission, Prakash, may I log out?
Yes, please, Sushil. That's done almost. And just sharing a thank you video and then we're moving. But thanks very much for joining in, Sushil. It's been really great.
Thank you so much.
We'll
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you all. Bye. Bye. So for all the visitors and the members, now is the time for a quick thank you video. And after the video is where we will have our introduction about each one of us. Yes, Arul, over to you for the thank you video.